Oh, so good.
Oh, fucking pump.
That's hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, out there with the winner and still UFC welterweight champion, Islam Makhachev. Islam, what did you expect coming into this fight, and was there anything that was surprising to you?
Jan is a great fighter, good man, and I just respect him. He gave me a hard time, but I still prove every fight. Thank you very much.
You certainly are. You certainly did prove. But was this, do you believe, the most difficult fight of your career?
Oh, let's see. Maybe in Australia and elsewhere, it's also very hard.
Now, there was moments in the fight where you got into the ground and you were able to secure him. Were you surprised he was able to defend the submission attempts?
Yeah, he improved a lot. He working one of the best fighter coach, Ian Machado. That's why I see he improving very also.
Do you feel a difference in fighting at welterweight? I know you feel better physically, but do you feel a difference in your ability to control guys and submit guys?
Yeah, I feel that the guys have more power, very hard to submit them, but still, my game is working. I take down all my opponents, give them hard time for them. And thank you for all people who come to support me. Thank you so much.
It's fine. Just boring fuck, dude. He landed a head kick in round 2, and other than that, he did nothing! For 20 minutes! He did fucking nothing! That's the truth! Zero! He caught him with a head kick in round 2, and other than that, he did fucking nothing! The whole fight!
They come back with the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev, who makes history. 17 wins in a row for Islam Makhachev. He retains his welterweight title. As GC just said, if you were watching the post show, and a tremendous job, the watch party, tremendous job by both GC and Rick. A, for the watch party, but B, for like actually doing it in those outfits for the entire time. I mean, the dedication to the bit. Primo, 5th fighter to defend a title in 2 different weight classes. Perhaps most importantly, in my opinion, 17th win in a row, breaking Anderson Silva's record, which was 16 wins in a row. He did not break any title defense records or anything like that. Dana White was kind of confused about those records throughout the week. But interestingly enough, same building that Anderson Silva beat Forrest Griffin way back when, UFC 101. Now that was just a 205-pound fight, but it was one of his greatest performances ever. Same building, same city, of course. Here's Islam Makhachev against Ian Machado Garry in a fight that I think a lot of people...
I think Islam struggled tonight to gain or get to the control position. When he finally did in round 5, he was able to keep him there like we're used to seeing, but Ian Garry was so well trained, he made it difficult for him. Now,
is going to be, but there is also a significant difference in the amount of taxing that it takes on Islam's body. The tax that he has to pay to hold these bigger, stronger guys down.
Yes.
Look at what he did to Justin Gaethje. Look at what he did to Dustin Poirier. Look at what he did to Charles Oliveira.
I mean, even Moicano, it was like a round.
Just crushes him when he gets on top of him. This is the difference between him at 155 and him at 170. And you know, I mean, I understand what he wants to do, and I understand that he wants to, but man, if I was in his corner,
it's hard.
I'd be like, maybe.
It's hard to tell a man that is the champion there to go back down and cut that weight.
I know.
But it was different. It was noticeably different. The welterweights are going to be much more difficult for him, and he's going to have to just keep improving. But again, we so frequently judge him on a different scale than most.
Of course.
Because most champions would win that fight the way that he did tonight, and we'd be like, oh my God, they're awesome.
Yes.
But Islam is just different.
Great point.
17 straight UFC wins.
UFC 330 is finally over, and here's how the MMA world thought this mega showdown would play out. But when Islam Makhachev finally stepped into the octagon with Ian Machado Garry, the fight took a very different turn. Islam survived Garry's toughest moments, secured a unanimous decision victory, broke Anderson Silva's win streak record, and Dana White's reaction afterward revealed just how significant this victory really was.
I think that, you know, this is my honest opinion on it. I felt like tonight was set up for the upset. I felt like the upset could happen tonight with so much on the line, all the records that Islam has, and he's going to break Anderson Silva's record. There's weight classes for a reason. Ian Garry is a big, rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that fifth round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That drives me crazy when there's so much at stake, and there's also, you know, a lot of mental, you know, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that fifth round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. I think that this is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, fuck, wish I could do that over again.
Would you agree going into the fifth round, it almost looked like Ian was actually the fresher man, like Islam had more?
100%. And, you know, if he came out and tried to destroy and win that last round, you know, with everything that he had, I think it's a totally different fight. And then he gives Islam that explosive, you know, he exploded up and got his back. And once he took his back and put the hooks in, that was a wrap. That he's going to ride that out to the round ends.
I felt like this.
But, and, you know, that's how I felt. But on the Islam side, Islam went out, you know, it's the complete opposite now. Against a bigger, strong, rangy guy who has good takedown defense, controlled him, shut him down. I don't know if he was in his head, and Ian felt like he had to come out and shake hands in the fifth round or whatever, but, you know, Islam did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight.
Yeah. Do you feel
Islam dominated with his wrestling, but his striking may have been the biggest surprise, and Bisping noticed it too.
Hands and striking are always improving, but when you look at Islam Makhachev and the way that he ragdolls everyone, when he gets a hold of them, and more importantly, when he gets them up against the fence, sometimes when he...
Islam didn't just beat Ian Garry, he made UFC history, and Luke Thomas believes this achievement deserves serious recognition.
I also think it's very, very important to give Islam Makhachev his flowers. As I indicated, he breaks Anderson Silva's win streak. Dude, getting 17 consecutive wins in the UFC is so mind-bogglingly difficult. And to do that in two weight classes through title defenses is just one of the most remarkable things you'll ever see. You can make an argument that this is the best title defense of a champ up a weight class in UFC history. I mean, there's other ones who have done it, but
how did the MMA world react to Islam's victory? The biggest names had plenty to say. Before the fight, Ian Garry's biggest advantage was obvious: his reach, long legs, jab, and straight right. The plan was simple: keep Islam at range and punish him before he could close the distance. But could that strategy actually work against Islam's pressure?
Kicks, those long legs, and that gives him a chance to catch Makhachev while standing and striking before Makhachev can get in range to catch him. Gives him a chance with the jab, gives him a chance with the straight right hand, set the table with the jab, you know, eat with the right hand, gives him a chance again with the kicks, gives him a chance to control the outside, gives him a chance to maybe walk Makhachev through a bad neighborhood and try to mug him. Makhachev don't get mugged, but a chance. That's all I'm looking for.
Israel believed Islam was already one of the best fighters in the UFC, and he had every reason to pick him here. But at the same time, Ian Garry had reached this moment for a reason. he had the chance to shock the entire MMA world and prove that he truly belonged at the top.
Islam is right now the best fighter that the UFC has, or one of top 2. If you put a gun to my head, who I'm gonna put money on this fight, I have to go Islam, because again, he's proved me wrong so many times, proved himself right so many times, and proved their pedigree, their lineage over there. This is his new weight class. He's done it right. He took it off the former champ with ease. So yeah, I have to go Islam. But you have moments like UFC 250, when the deck is stocked against Justin. Look what he did. He just had a stellar performance, masterful, overcame adversity to become champ on the White House lawn. That's magic. This is another one of those fights where I'm like, this is it. Like, Ian's come to this point now to prove that he's the best in the world, and he's called his shots. So if he does it, woo, it'll be beautiful, it'll be magical. I like those stories.
Max Holloway had a very specific vision for how this fight would unfold. He expected Ian to use his reach and survive the early rounds, while Islam patiently worked to close the distance. And once Islam got his hands on Garry, Max believed things could get very ugly.
Like I said, guys, do not be surprised of Ian in the first 2 rounds, bro. Ian is going to use his reach, he's going to be smart. Islam is going to be super smart back, just trying to figure it out, try to wear him down, trying to close that distance. But once he closes that distance, it's going to be hell, I believe, and I feel like he's just going to be smothering him for the rest of the fight. So I think Islam Makhachev, I think it's a submission or just get his hand raised, period. But if it is a finish, I think it's a submission. So, but Islam can knock out too, so never know, bro. But I think he get his hands raised. I think right now he's just on his stuff and he's looking great, and I'm excited for this.
Before the fight, Kamaru Usman pointed to one key weapon Ian Garry had against Islam: his ability to read the fight. Garry could see openings, anticipate shots, and punish mistakes. But there was one major condition: he had to stay composed and avoid being trapped underneath Islam.
I like his vision, because as a fighter, to be an elite fighter, you have to be able to have the vision of the fight, the vision of how the fight's taking place, how the fight's playing out, and the wherewithal to be able to see the shot before you land the shot. See the setup before you land it. And Ian, I have to be honest, Ian does have good vision of a fight. He can see, there's that highlight of the only, I think, couple of knockouts that he has in the UFC right now is him sliding back, seeing the shot, and landing the right hand, I believe. So he does have that vision, and if he is able to stay composed and not be put on his butt, put on his back, and not just be controlled, Ian does have vision. He can find it. So that's the shot that I give him. Besides that, I just being on your feet alone, I don't think gives him that.
Demetrius Johnson saw this as a battle of elite technique rather than a wild brawl. Islam had the versatility to control the fight in multiple areas, while Ian's best chance was using movement and distance. And Johnson expected fans to pay close attention to the technical chess match.
And then he defended it. Those guys on a different level. Ilya Topuria, he won the belt, Alex Volkanovski, then he knocked out Max Holloway, and then he went to lightweight. He did win the lightweight belt, but he didn't defend it. So Islam Makhachev is going into his own era with the other athletes who've been able to win it and defend it. So be patient, enjoy the fight, watch for the technique, understand the gamemanship that's going on in this fight. It won't be a rock'em sock'em bloody. It's not going to be Roy McDonald versus Robbie Lawler. It's not going to be that fight. It's going to be a very, very high technical.
When it came to the winner, Demetrius Johnson backed Islam Makhachev. But the real question was how Islam would get it done. If Ian could keep moving and avoid the takedowns, Johnson expected a decision. But if Islam got his hands on Garry and established top control, a finish suddenly became possible.
Who do I have winning against Ian Garry versus Islam Makhachev? I'm going to go with Islam Makhachev. I think Islam Makhachev can win the fight anywhere. Now, do we think Islam Makhachev is going to win by decision or a finish? Islam said he's going to get it done. Islam said he's going to get it done within 3 rounds. And, it just all depends how Islam approaches the fight and how Ian Garry approaches the fight. If Ian Garry is running a lot and Islam's having a hard time catching him, it's probably going to go to a decision. But if Islam Makhachev is able to get his hands on Ian Garry, get him to the ground, and start to pass his guard, then he'll finish him. It all depends how the reaction is going to be when the two clash. And that's what dictates if it's going to be finish or
And then came the moment that completely changed the momentum. Ian had been managing the distance, but Islam suddenly found the opening and connected with a brutal head kick. Ian was visibly rocked, and Islam instantly recognized the opportunity. Instead of giving him space, he closed the distance, took him down, and started hunting for control. This was exactly the kind of sequence that showed why Islam is so dangerous.
But Ian's doing a good job of keeping him close. And then separate head kick, Islam Makhachev! Oh my goodness! And Ian's still wobbly. He dropped him with a head kick. Right hand Islam. Ian looks to get underneath and grapple. Big time judo throw from Islam. And he's sitting in side control, looking to isolate a wrist. Holy cow. Dropped him with the head kick off the break. And now Ian is in a bad spot. He's flat on his back, middle of the octagon. And we know Islam can get to mounted crucifix from here. There's about 1 minute and 50 seconds left. That was a huge moment. And it was just on the toes. And it wobbled Ian.
Before the fight, the biggest question was always going to be which style would take over. Ian Garry had the striking, the range, and the movement to make Islam work for every entry. But Islam had something completely different, a light-level wrestling and submission grappling. The moment he gets a grip, the entire fight can change. And that made this matchup a fascinating battle between Ian's distance game and Islam's suffocating control.
Garry, I think the obvious is Islam Makhachev, if he grabs you, it'll feel like the eclipse that we just had, because it'll get dark very, very quick. And that's usually because people are falling asleep, because if he grabs your neck, your head, throat, your arm, your leg, it's going to be a problem. His grappling and wrestling style is exceptional, you know, because it's so effective. Whereas on the other side, Ian Garry, less about the grappling, more about the striking. This is what we've all come to love about mixed martial arts, about the UFC specifically, is style versus style. Ian Garry's striking is very, very good. Not that good, but very, very good. And the reason I feel like I've got good insight that is because I've gone the distance with Ian Garry and felt his pros, his cons. Again, my style is very, very different. I do believe he will have the striking advantage, although Islam's striking very, very on point. But I have to say, Ian Garry is just a very smart fighter.
But there was another quality in Ian Garry that made him dangerous, even when the fight wasn't going his way. He had already shown that when things become difficult, he can make adjustments instead of simply falling apart. That ability to survive, reset, and find another opportunity is exactly what makes fighters difficult to finish. And against someone as dominant as Islam, that resilience could become one of Ian's biggest weapons.
Ian Garry is somebody that if it's starting to go wrong, he can make those adjustments and then, you know, find a way. I think he's a bit of a cockroach, man. And I mean it with respect. He just seems to be able to, just can't kill him. You just find a way. He will find a way to getting that victory, although he's...
But Henry Cejudo saw a path where Ian Garry could seriously challenge Islam Makhachev.
Ian's 6'3" frame
gave him a major advantage in height and reach, while his jab and powerful kicks could keep Islam at distance.
The key, however, was avoiding the takedown.
Because once Islam gets his hands on Ian and starts controlling him on the ground, those striking advantages could disappear instantly. Could Ian keep Islam away long enough to make his size matter?
People are counting out Ian Garry out.
Are they?
I'll never forget when I had your back when everybody was say that Tyrone Williams was about to put your lights out.
No, they wouldn't.
You know what I
that.
said? You know what I said? I was like, dude, Kamaru's different. He's got the length, he's got the height, he's got the wrestling.
You said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now what I'm saying is you cannot ride off a guy that is 6'3", can get him to his feet, uses the jab, and then kicks the lead leg very, very well. You know, will Islam take him down? Yes. Now, could Islam control him in Dagestani? I mean, that to me, that's the biggest answer, because when it comes to the feet too, as much as people do not like him, as much as like you cannot hate on the competitive spirit that this dude has. He probably doesn't finish people like people want to, but he does get his hand.
And after hearing all these reactions, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. Islam Makhachev versus Ian Garry was never just a fight between two elite fighters. It was a battle between two completely different styles, two different paths to victory, and two fighters trying to prove they belonged at the very top. Before the fight, the questions were everywhere. Could Ian's height, reach, movement, and striking keep Islam away? Could he force Islam to fight at his distance? Or would Islam eventually close that gap, take control, and turn the fight into the kind of grappling battle where very few fighters can survive? And now we know how it played out. Islam found his moments, imposed his game, and showed once again why his wrestling, control, and adaptability make him such a nightmare for anyone standing across the octagon. But Ian deserves credit too. He stepped into one of the toughest challenges in the UFC and kept fighting through every difficult moment. And now the biggest question is no longer what these analysts predicted, it's what comes next. Because Islam's victory only makes the welterweight division even more interesting. New challengers are already waiting, while Ian Garry has to figure out how he rebuilds after facing one of the most dominant fighters of this generation. And somewhere behind all of this, Dana White's reaction could say a lot about what the UFC wants next. So stay tuned, because this story is far from over.